All right, guys. Well, thank you guys for coming on first. And I'll be going over my week. Uh, we have been seeing lots of runners and some not. Like we're just seeing like just a bunch of random movers. Like some movers out there, like some stocks are just going up on no news, like no clear no news whatsoever. Um, but we're seeing a lot of biotech names, like NRXP. This one had news on. Let's see. So they had the first successful commercial formulation or something like that, and this thing went from like around $10 to now almost 25, 26 bucks in a couple days. On decent volume. So and then the main runner we saw was Neuro. So let's see. Actually, you guys don't see the daily chart, but let me pull it up right here. So this was a runner that ran from $4 and within the next day it had a really big rally to like almost 40 bucks, almost 40 bucks. So that's almost what, a 1,000% move, I think, from 4 to 40, almost. Not quite, but almost. And like the next day, it closed weak on this day, on 21st, and then it came right back up the next day, and then it closed weak again. So we're just seeing just a bunch of the volatility's just been crazy. Despite like weak closes, you're seeing runners just come right back up. And that's the market we are in right now. And just what I'm saying right now is what I think of the market sentiment. Every good trader knows what's going on, what the market sentiment is. Is it strong? Is it whippy? Is it boring, slow, going sideways? A good trader knows when the market's hot and knows when the market is slow or is going sideways. They know when, and once they know that, then they decide, okay, do I have to play with a lot of size or not? When things are going sideways, when things are going slow, um, they will tell themselves, okay, well, I'm going to play with less size. When the market's hot, they'll play with more size. With more size comes, well, more risk comes with a great reward, and less risk comes with less reward. Very simple. So, once you grasp that market sentiment, like once you know that, then you can tell yourself, okay, is it a good time to size in? Like people ask me, like how big should I be playing? How much buying power, or how much money do you use, or how many shares do you buy? Is I can't really give you an exact answer. It all depends on the market. You have to ask yourself, is the market hot? And if it is, maybe you can, start sizing up. But when the market is slow, maybe your performance is poor, then start sizing down. So it all depends on what the market tells you. You can't tell what the market to do. The market will do whatever it wants to do. It doesn't care about you or your feelings, or the market is the market. So you're people, like I said, to answer that question, people always ask me how much money should I use, or how much would I start with, or how many shares, whatever. You have to adapt and know the market sentiment. So, all right. So, I had some, pretty large losses in the beginning of the week. We had Semi right here. Unfortunately, Semi came right back up the next day, but I was playing semi right here. If you guys look, had a forming ascending triangle right here. So yeah, look at this. And this is what I saw. So it had broken down here, and it did broke down, and somehow it was kind of closing down, but came right back up. And it was just right on this lower trend line, and I was like, okay, soon it should definitely pop right back up over 660, 670s. In this case, it broke over 640. It tried to go over 650, but it couldn't. And it looked like it was pretty heavy down here. When there was buying, it quickly sold off, and it looked like it was gonna close red. So I had to stop out. My risk was 618, 615. I did get out right here before it dipped all the way back under six. So I did get out in due time. But I had pretty decent size on this. I lost like I think 70,000 on this, and I'm like, yeah, I'm done after this. Um, and I think it also faked me out right here. I think I played this over here and it faked me out right here. I don't remember. I don't think I remember playing this. But as you can see, it has a history of quick pullbacks, right? Really quick pullbacks, and it happened to be here. It had a quick pullback here, and another one right here. So that was semi, and plus semi was up. I would say, I mean, I think it was up like almost 200% or something like that, around 100%. I know it was somewhere in the triple digits, you know, triple digits. So I'm not sure why I played this with a lot of size. So, my general rule of thumb is the higher the stock, like like the more extended the stock is. When I say more extended, I mean high percentage gain on that day. So, for example, semi was up, roughly, triple digits, over 100%. Why am I playing big size? I'm basically setting myself up for like a big loss. I have huge risk. Um, and reward, well, it's already made a giant move. Why should I expect myself that semi should go up another 10, 20, 50%? The chances of that happening is lower when the stock is up already over 100%. Um, so that was just a bad mix. That was just a bad trade. Um, so I don't know why. At that time, I was watching also MRN. MRN that day, I was watching this too. I saw this pop right here, and I'm like, okay, this thing looks to be holding up very well. I was hoping it for to dip around back towards the 840s, potentially back on the VWAP, and I'll potentially, be loading these dips, 850s up until VWAP for a move like this. And my target was 10 and potentially like 11 or 12, but I didn't know this thing will halt. But I had the right idea. I just didn't play it. Instead, I played a stock that was overextended, and yeah. Um, and Emerald was just a perfect bounce play. I had other bounce plays before. I played other previous bounce plays too, and MRN was just another great bounce opportunity. I should have played this name instead because this wasn't really so extended. This was heavily sold off for like almost a week in a row, like red candle after red, and it was due for a bounce. So I should have played that. My odds of winning are higher on MRN simply due to the fact that it's not as extended. Um, but if you look at semi, it's way too extended and it's up over 100%. Why am I playing big size on that? So um, that's kind of my thing, talking to myself. Okay, what did I do wrong? What should I do next time? I knew what I did wrong. I played the stock that's overextended, and I knew that I should not touch, or at least if I was going to touch it, play it small. But instead, I played it big. and that was my mistake. And next time I know, okay, Richie, don't play those high overextended stocks and don't go too big. That's all. Same for your guys' trades. If you notice you did a bad trade, why you lost on it, go over what you did, what you played, and tell yourself, what did I do wrong? Next time I'm not gonna do that. Um, so yeah, MRN just halted. This kind of frustrated me. So it is what it is. I missed it. You know, there's always gonna be another great trade ahead of me, right? I just gotta refocus and continue um, to play better setups than my mistakes. Hey guys, I got faked out. Yeah. Yeah, this week was pretty decent. I mean, like I said, I had some big losses and big gains. So let's see. Okay, so semi was my second one. Was my one of the bigger losses, and um, oh yeah, let me go over my big win trade, my big winner on WISA. So, okay, so this is the first day it ran, but I had no idea this was running that day, so just left it as B. This day it did actually close above all the daily EMAs. I'm an SMA, sorry. So this would be a decent swing. And the next day, it had news on some like Amazon storefront. It was pretty big news when I saw Amazon. I'm like, that's it. This is, because I knew previous runners like Nero or some like really big runners had great news, positive catalysts, and that's one of my criterias for playing a stock. It has to have a catalyst. So WIC right here um, had a catalyst and it had a decent run up in the morning and a nice consolidation flat action right here, which is great. I can easily pinpoint my risk and reward. So in this case, I knew that right here. Let me draw this. So pre-market lows was just around 480s, right? 480s. And I'm looking. My game plan was, well, when I see dip, when I see this thing dipping under in around 480s, I want to start buying. And that was my plan. Now, if I start buying and it continues to go lower, well, I have to see like how far it goes down. So if it like closes under 480, the next 1 minute candle, I'm gonna be definitely stopping out. But in this case, I had just loaded this dip right here in the 480s as much as I could because this is support. So when I went to 480s, I'm like, no, this is the opportunity right here, and I just bought as many shares as I could right here on this dip. I usually don't buy right at open, but this pattern and plus the the market that we're in, if we see a great catalyst, usually the stock will open very strong and just start running right at open. And I didn't want to miss that. And plus, this pre-market was just beautiful. I could easily risk off 480s, and my reward was going to be maybe potentially $6 and higher. My target was $7. Um, and I was planning to ride the rest towards maybe 8, 10, and potentially swing it again for a second day run. But that didn't happen. Um, but it definitely had the potential. As you guys can see right here, $7 is important. Well, the first resistance. I wouldn't say it was a very important resistance because over seven, I mean, this thing definitely could have had potential to see tens, 15, and 20s. It had the potential, but as I learned from my previous mistakes, I usually don't scale out at resistance levels. I usually just, you know what, once it breaks over seven or a certain resistance, I'm going for the home run. In this case, I learned from the mistakes, and I definitely, executed very, very, very well. So I had bought WISA, all these dips. So I just in the low $5 average. So basically, right here in it. And I held my entire position. Well, so like my plan was like, okay, I know this thing has a lot of potential, right? And I knew the next resistances will be $7. So I let this thing run. Um, and I wanted to wait for first decent pullback. As you can see right here, the pre-market highs right here was around 580, 590, and it looked like, and it definitely broke, over that pre-market those pre-market highs. And I was expecting a decent pullback, and I want to see because usually after testing resistance, the stock usually tends to pull back, um, has a decent pullback before it starts ripping again, and that's exactly what happened. Um, it broke over pre-market highs, and it had a decent dip. I didn't sell anything yet. I want to see what this dip does, and of course it comes ripping back up. I was like, and it comes right back up, dips, comes right back up. It looks pretty strong, very very grindy, creating high lows. And this thing almost went to $7. It had dipped, a good, yeah, a good 80 cents, 80 90 cents. I mean, look at that. That's almost a dollar move. So for those that are scalping, like for example, if you guys bought this high right here, like nice higher lows, this small flag, maybe you got it at 640, you should be selling in the 650, 660s as a scalp. You don't want to be holding this thing for the home run because you bought way up here. If you bought way down here, maybe you have more patience. You can afford to wait longer. Don't hold for the big moves. But if you're playing it up here, you got to be very tight with your risk and know what you're doing. Um, but yeah, so I'm like, okay, it looks like it's dipping. This thing most likely will dip back towards VWAP, and let's see what happens at VWAP. And it looks to me right here. I'm like, this thing potentially could hold VWAP. My stop was like, if it didn't hold VWAP, like for example, if it broke below VWAP and it tried to come back up but couldn't get back above, then the next candle, next maybe 2 minute candles, I will stop out because it couldn't get back above it. But in this case, it was holding above you up the entire time. Very, very well. Very, very well. It was holding very well. And in this case, it went straight up to almost to $7. Well, it did go to seven. But I had all my orders, sell orders at seven. Um, and yeah, I basically literally bought the bottom right here on this day and sold right at the top. This is a perfect play. My target was $7. Perfectly played with discipline. And in this trade itself, this was a yeah, this was almost just over 30-minute trade. I made just over $370,000 on this single trade. So I was definitely going for, you know, a pretty big trade. I wasn't going for no home run, but I had a plan. My plan wasn't, oh, I'm going for the big trade and that's it. No, my plan was to buy at certain levels. I knew where support was. I identified support. and then tried to find the entry, which was, once it's supported, I entered just around $5, and my plan to sell was $7 and potentially higher. In this case, I adapted, and you know what? I just sold the rest at 7. And in this case, it faded the entire day, so which was quite unfortunate. This had a lot of potential. I believe it had an offering. Yeah, they had an offering, which is even worse. So my biggest gain ever was this trade. It was $370,000. There were some trades that I was up over 500K, but I didn't end up selling. So, technically my biggest trade would have been almost five to $600,000, but those were unrealized gains. So, yes, though that was my biggest gain, well, unrealized gain ever. I only ended up making $188,000 on that trade, but I did lose a bulk of my profits because I didn't scale out. But my realized gains, this is my biggest gain. I also had my biggest losses, this week too. Like I mentioned, the 70,000 dollars I lost in semi. Um, that was just uncalled for. So I've had my biggest losses, and I also had my biggest gains this week. How much did you end up making after the fact? What do you mean? Yeah, like after Way, I only ended making $188,000. Let's see. I'm pretty sure there were some other names that ran MDGS. So this one, I almost played, but at the same time, this price action was just way too whippy. Yes, I could have played small too on this one, but I'm like, nah, I don't like the action. I'm not putting my money towards this action. So I did not play this. I think there was another name that also went. I forgot. Was it XBIO? Yeah, it was XBIO. So this one, I this was very. This is also um this was also another name that went up pretty big. I mentioned to everyone that XBIO has a history of closing weak on the day, and as you can see on this day and on this day, they closed weak. And to no surprise, this day it closed weak, right? So those are small details that if you miss could potentially cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars, big gains. Um, but XPI didn't really have any clear news, and this is why I didn't play it because yeah, no clear news. So didn't play it. Didn't meet my criteria. I don't care how high it was or how much it was going. If there's no news, I don't play it. You know? No, I didn't trade. I didn't trade Neuro. That thing was just way too extended. Uh, so Chris, let's see. Should you be overnighting? Should I be looking to be seeing what happens in the pre-market and sell before open? For example, should I see it has two separate trades, the overnight, and then I want to continue playing the ticker, sell and reset? Well, if I know what, okay, so I hope I know what you're talking about, but um, I would say yes, definitely sell and reset. If you're up, if you're overnight and it gaps up, um, then yeah, look to scale some out. But if it didn't do anything and it's just still at the same price where you swung it from, there's no reason to sell. Just see what happens when it opens. But yes, if it's gapping up, like for example, I swing, just for example, uh, I don't know, just I swing stock ABC, right, at $1. Now, this if that stock went up now, let's also make some like random resistance. So there's resistance at 150, okay? Now, if it's at like 130, it gaps up at 130, okay. I'll sell some there at 130 because I know it's nearing resistance. So, and if it's over 150, I'll just sell at least half in the pre-market. Now, now, if it's still at like $1 or like 99 cents or like $1.05, don't bother selling because it's way too light pre-market. And you're gonna get slippage. So I would just rather wait at the open. For example, I had swung CIDM. Let's see. I had swung CIDM this day. I had bought around under 160 right here to for a swing. And to my and as you can see, it just kind of was just hanging around my swing position. And it gapped down. Now I had like over 100,000 shares on this on CIDM. If I were to sell pre-market, I mean, look, if you look at pre-market CIDM, it's only trading like what 5,000 shares per minute. If I were to sell my entire position, I'm pretty sure I probably would have sold probably near to 140s. I would have get massive slippage on this. There was no liquidity, so why would I sell? I sold right at open, and I was able to get out easily, no problem. So, so, so like, and if CIDM were to gap up, maybe in the 150, 170s, I'll scale some out in the pre-market, and then and if you want, you can sell the rest and try to reset, and then re-trade it again at the open. So it all depends on your plan. Are you looking to hold more, or like hold another day? What's your target? Stuff like that. Yeah, I know we had. I believe we had that news. Let's see, what news did it have? Okay, yeah, it got some uh approval. Yeah, yeah, NAOV. This was a big one. My goodness. I mean, I don't know what the heck is Ural Shield, but I mean, it seems to be really good. Um, I mean, this is just crazy. I mean, look at this. It's just insane. Just insane. How long have I been trading? I've been trading for about a few years now. Yeah, knowing when to sell, you just gotta ask yourself. Like, remember what I always say. Before you enter a trade, you want to always have a set reward and risk in mind. When I traded at WISA, before I entered, before the market opened, I already had a plan. I listed out the support levels and seeing where where dip buying made sense. And also on I also made sure, okay, where does my sales make sense, right? And and to my if you go back to WISA, you know, support level 480, so I bought. That was when I knew when to buy. That was my plan. And my next target was $7. And once over 7, then it was basically, I mean, 10, $20. I mean, just let it ride. I don't really have a specific target, but I knew once it's over 7, it says mass potential. So, you know, when you list out, when you have set risk and reward before you trade, you kind of know, like, you kind of know where to sell. So you remember, list out your risk and reward. As support helps you buy, like, know where you buy, and resistance, knowing where to sell. You don't have to sell at that price, but just have a general rule of thumb, like, okay, the resistance at $7, maybe I should sell at 650 or 670. Start scaling out towards the $7 level. You don't have to scale everything out at 7, as that's what I did. But maybe a more smarter thing was I should have scaled that at 660, 650s, 690s. So that would be more smarter. It all depends on how you want to scale out. So if we look at eyes, let's see. Uh, so yeah, eyes right here. It had a strong close, like you said, on news. Thing with eyes is that it just has a bit too much overhead resistance. I mean, look, it closed strong, right? But I mean, if you look at the daily chart right here. I mean, look at all the EMAs, right? It has to get back over 520s, then and then next would be, well, 680s. So there is some resistance up there. Now, if you when you swung this, it had closed around 430, right? If you look over here, 430, it closed just under this yellow 20 SMA. Now it's open right here towards 520. So yeah, you want to keep these indicators, like, if you guys can see, eyes, when it moved, it definitely respected these lines. So keep in mind, like I said earlier, um tell yourself where the resistance is and where the support is. Once he knows those, you have you kind of know where to sell potentially and will know where to buy. How much would your account fluctuate when you start with 1K? Sometimes I make 400 and slowly diminishes again. Back to the PR day, I realized that I take a lot of small stupid trades that add up. So okay, so um yeah, when I started 1K, it's a long time ago. It's a long time ago. I don't know what to tell you or how it fluctuated, but I could tell you is that you say you make 400 or something, and it dies, right? It dies off. Then back to another PR day. So I read a book. Someone said that a the the better trader. So, like, um you would be better off um in the long term if you have small consistent gains. Someone that focuses on small singles, that person lasts longer than the trader that has huge gains but has a lot of small losses. So you want to focus on um, just small gains and just do it over and over again. Focus on that consistency. So yeah, you say you make a lot of stupid trades, you know, try to reverse that and make a lot of small winning trades, right? And try to remove the big PR days. So remove the big PR days and then change the equation to have small winner trades instead of the PR, right? So try to switch that around and see if that works. I noticed one thing for when I had my 1K account, it was my account was small anyway. But as long as I have consistency, my account's worth going to grow exponentially at the end of the day anyway. So as long as it has that consistency, I can definitely be comfortable sizing up over time than just going for big PR days in the beginning. So so yeah, yeah. So just try to think about that. Change the equation a little bit. And yeah, and I don't know what I was fluctuating at, but I can tell you for sure that I was focusing on consistency. And I had rules too that also had me play better trades. Averaging $500 a day in wedges and pennants. Yes, wedges and pennants, they're great patterns. I love those patterns. Um, Jordan definitely loves the hep. Definitely loves those. He probably see wedge patterns in real day life too. I mean, seriously, that guy's always on the wedge patterns. He loves them. Perfect. I mean, I love them too. They show a clear risk and reward. But sometimes, if you play a wedge pattern like I did on semi, like the wedge pattern was just way too high up in the clouds. Why would it be up there? I would rather be on the ground because when you're on the ground, there's a less likelihood that you're gonna go under the ground, right? But if you look up, you have plenty of. I mean, the sky's the limit, right? I mean, so when you like, because that's just, the one thing like really consistent on my winners is because I play stocks that are closest to the ground as possible. Like it might be about 10 inches off the ground, but like, what are the chances of it going like way below the ground? It has to have really, and when I say ground, I mean support too. Um, like right here, like on WISA, like I'm if you look at WISA when I trade this name, 480 would be the ground right here. And there was plenty of other names that were up like over 100% in the gappers in the pre-market. I'm like, no, I'm not touching that. I want to see a stock that's pretty low on the ground and that has potential. And to me, right here with WSA, the ground was around 480s. If it were to go under the ground, man, it would have a hard hit to it'd be much harder for it to go down than up. So I look for stocks that have a lot have a lot of upside potential. Um, and yeah, if the higher the stock is, the less potential upside it has, the less upside potential it has. Let's see. How long did it take you to be profitable for the month? Took me I don't know. It probably took me about a year or two. Probably a year. Actually, I would say 2 years. 2 years. It took 2 years. During those 2 years, I did more studying than trading. So I wasn't really paying attention to the P&Ls. I was just making sure I studied and knew I knew what I was doing the next time. If I made a mistake, fix it and definitely be better next time, right? So yeah, RCAT was a I traded this one, I think. I don't remember. Did I trade this? No, I don't think I did. Don't think I did. I did swing it, but I didn't trade it. I think I was somewhere else. Liechtenstein making your daily bread, and then you wait for good swing setups to really build account build. Okay, starting to see consistency. So yeah, intraday is more for like quick gains, right? Swinging is more scalable. Um, if you have a bigger account, swinging is more scalable. You can play the same patterns. It's just swinging. It's just more of a longer time frame, and it's just I think it's also something that everyone should learn too. I used to sway away from swinging because it just wasn't what I was good at, but I started taking more swings and trying to try new things, and my thing is trying to scale up. I let's see. I was too focused on other people's trading style while playing bounces. It would fail. Now I'm back to news, volume, and pattern. So yeah, sometimes going back to the basics is the best thing to do. Um, yes, we might be in a crazy market where we're seeing names going up on no news whatsoever. That doesn't tell you like, oh, I should start playing stocks with no news. No, no, like the odds of you winning the next time is actually lower when a stock has news, right? So there's no point of playing a stock that has no news. Just let it go. It doesn't fit the criteria. Forget it. When I saw XBIO run, from a dollar or something to near $4. I mean, that's not my business. Has no news. That's not what I'm looking for. So forget it. Yeah, you could have made money. Yeah, it had the volume, but where's the news? There was no really exact pattern either. It was just kind of just grinding up, and that was it. There was no flags or no like previous pre-market levels that you could base off of on support. It was just going up, and I'm not playing a stock that's going straight up when it has no real pattern. Let's see. Yeah, Notice Jordan definitely seems like he's like in any wedge, even if it's overextended. Yeah, yeah. That's the mistake I've been doing. I just sometimes I play wedges even though it's overextended, and I definitely bit me really hard on semi. Did you go? Oh yeah, SGOC. That was another big one. So SGOC, I swung SGOC. It just didn't work out. I know that was showing lots of potential as an ascending triangle. It kept falling each day, and I was trying to swing it, but I wasn't sure where to sell and reset. So yes, I assume you saying ascending triangle as in the daily time frame. So it had a great setup. It was well just above, like running above the 10 SMA on daily, and was due for a potential another run towards 20 and higher. This case that did not work. Um, and yeah, sometimes just things just like that just don't work. It was just a bit too heavy. Let's see. Which do you like better? Dip buying or continuation trades like wedges? Um, hmm. It depends. It all depends. Like if you're dip buying when the stock is, I mean, any stock that's overextended, you just don't want. I mean, why would you be, buying up there? I mean, if you're scalping it, maybe dip buying is better. If you were to play a wedge pattern, when it's overextended, maybe not. More recommend buying dips instead of buying wedges. Um, so if you're if we're talking about terms of when the stock is not extended, I would say wedges are better. And maybe consolidation too is fine too. Consolidation, but it mostly depends. Remember, if the stock is overextended, I wouldn't touch it at all, to be honest. Maybe only for scalping, but that's about it. When a stock is not overextended, I will definitely look into plays or setups, potential setups. So yeah, so like this week has just been all over the place, and it's definitely taking a toll, and I just wanted to relax. I was also at the beach, and I came back, and yeah. I don't know why. I came back during lunch, like around like 12 or 1 o'clock. I still traded even though I wasn't available within the first 2 hours. That was a mistake. Well, overextended. Well, if a stock's up over 100%, that's extended. Um, Now if you look at the general rule of, if you look at general gappers, or no, not the gappers, sorry. If you look at the general runners on the day, the intraday gainers, right? If you see a lot of stocks up 10-20%, but you see one stock up like um 100 or 200%, the stock that's up 100 200% is extended compared to all the rest of the gainers that are up only 10-20%. Now, if there's only one stock that's up like 50%, but there's no stock up not even 5% on the day, then that stock that's up 50% is extended. As we saw on Friday, we saw XBIO up like what 200%, I think, somewhere around there, right? But most majority of the other gainers were only up like probably for sure probably like under 50%. So you have to look zoom out and look in comparison. You know, there's no exact overextended percentage, but you want to zoom out, look at all the gainers, and just kind of go over the outliers. Usually the outliers are the one that's overextended. We did this in math class, right? You look for the outliers, and those outliers you know are usually the ones that are very overextended. Yes, yeah, relative to others, exactly. Do you recommend buying stocks with great news like ALZ on Friday? Um, yes. Well, I don't recommend like buying right when the news comes out. Not right when it comes out, because the chance of you buying a stock right when the news comes out is very low, unless you're like staring at the stock and you see the news come out, then you buy it. I've only had that instance one time where I was looking at a stock when it was, and then it just had news. I was literally just staring at the stock, and it had news, and I saw some buying. I'm like, wait, what's this buying from? I look down and I see the news. It just came out. I'm like, oh no, oh this is news. So I bought as much as I can and I scalped it really easily. Um, because I was the first people that saw it. Um, but let's see LZN. Yeah, LZN. This one is a dud. This one, well, it had news and it moved pre-market, but it just, well, it crashed basically. It did nothing throughout the entire day. So, so like you just don't want to buy the news. You want to use the news as somewhat of a support, guidance. Just because it has news doesn't mean you should buy it. I also have different criterias like news, the volume, the pattern, the price of the stock, how much percentage, like how high the stock is. Like I'm not buying a stock like LZN when it's up like 50%. Or 100%. If it had news and it was up 100%, it had news, really great news. I'm not buying it. It has news, but it's overextended. And when the stock's overextended, I'm not buying it. That's one of my criteria too. So I don't just use news and say, oh, it has good news, I'm gonna buy it. No, I have other things in consideration, um, and make an ultimate decision if this is a great buy or great play, not great setup. All right, guys. We're getting close to an hour on the stream. Do you guys have any last questions? We have about a few minutes. Yeah. Also, I also just recently wired money out. Um, I was previously using only $50,000 worth in buying power when I first opened this account and never took money out. So I think now is a good time. I took money out because the market may be starting to slow down soon because the market's just been way too crazy and it needs to somehow slow down, right? So I'm just preparing myself for that, and in case it does slow down, for example, the next day or next week, beginning next week on Monday, I know for sure that I'm gonna have less exposure because I already took a bunch of money out. So yeah, so I'm just gonna slowly build it back up, and when the market's hot again, it should be right back up to $1 million. But right now, I just took money out for my safety and staying in cash in case we see the market start slowing down again. And you know, I don't want to lose all that, all those gains I had. Because the bigger account you have, no matter how quickly you build the account up, if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, and the market starts slowing down, it's gonna really hurt you really bad when the market starts slowing down, and all those gains could be gone within the next couple days. So yeah, I had a small sense that some like seeing ALZN and some other names, they look like most names are looking to closing weak so far right now on the day. I mean, they have strong beginnings, but some of them are starting to like close at right at the, close to its lows than its highs. So I'm starting to see that. And as you guys can see already, I'm kind of already, you know, showing my words, my ideas about this market sentiment just by observing runners and how they closed. So if you're seeing like more runners closing weak on the day, that should be a good indication that or a good signal saying, okay, I should start slowing down now in case, you know. So you have to trade, you have to be risk adverse. You have to know the risks and take the next steps accordingly. Every day the market's not going to be super hot every single day. How do I go live? I go live usually once a week. That's my schedule. Sometimes I skip a week, sometimes I don't. I have to be more consistent on that. Sometimes I forget. Sometimes I have to hang out with my girlfriend. That gets in the way. So, but yeah, I try to make it every single once a week. And by the way, guys, this is for free. So like hey, don't expect me to go every single week. I'm pretty sure if you pay someone, they'll go every single week or every day. But I'm just doing this for you guys, my own time. I want you guys to learn, and there's plenty of great content out there, not just me. I want you guys to learn from. So, see, everything makes sense. Thanks for posting overnight. So it's so simple, and your posts are always on the same, but with different tickers. Getting an idea. So yeah, Chris, you're just saying exactly right. You get to see and study and see what setups I'm looking for. Kind of get a feel. So over time, with consistency, you'll definitely start. The ball's going to start rolling, right? When the market slows down, do you switch to longer time frames versus intraday, or does the market slow down as a whole? It may make sense both take a hit. Like when the market slows down, it could be anything, intraday or because before we usually have large intraday movers, but then we stop seeing those large intraday moves. We start seeing large multi-day runners, you know. But when the multi-day runners start dying, well, it's back to intraday, right? So it all depends. It all depends, It all depends on what you see. Yeah, thank you, Gruber. You have a good weekend. Yes, I already went over my big trade. If you want me to, I'll go over it real quick again for you guys. So WISA right here. As soon as I saw this dip to the 480s, I just started buying. So I had like an average just over $5. Um, and then I sold the rest at 7, basically. Good content. Well, I have links on my Discord. Um, the videos there's a bunch of links out there that I do recommend. Some of them are not really stock related, but also good for the mindset and perspective. Yes, Kwalamagi is a great guy. I'm actually currently learning from him. Well, just watching his videos too. So, well, yeah, your brother's okay. Well, that's great. Doubles count. Progress right there. I want intraday day trading. Yeah, swing trading is more of a. I mean, I guess you could start swing trading too in the beginning, but that all depends. For me, I started intraday trading. Kwalamagi, he was day trading too first. He first was day trading, and soon after he went to scale up, so he started swinging. So, so that was his plan, and I'm doing this kind of same thing. I'm gonna start swinging and start doing less day trading. The transition has been slow, but I mean it's definitely I know it's definitely step by step. I've been through it before. Exactly. Exactly, Kabur. That's exactly. All right, guys. It's just over an hour now. Just want to say thank you guys for coming on, listening to me, and just taking information. So, hopefully I'll be on next week. I'm not sure. I'm not on every week, but I'll try to be on. Um, but yeah, it's just great seeing you guys here, and I love the dedication, guys. So just keep it up, keep studying, and I'll see you guys next week. Okay? Or the next marketing session in my Discord or whatever. All right, guys. Well, take it easy this week. Everyone stay safe and good luck. All right.